that's interesting. Can you talk about the way President Trump handled the Soleimani strike in light of my 2012 speech when I basically said, "You want to war Iran? You want to play this game? We got lots of missiles." Can you talk about the way our president from the pop culture who's proud of his own story showed Iran he wasn't dicking around? Yeah, Cameron. I think while certainly the strike on Soleimani was precisely the kind of thing I was talking about doing, make it cost them. If you keep hitting, like, if I walk up to Mike Tyson and keep bopping him on the ear and punching him in the nose, then I can beat up Mike Tyson. Only because Mike Tyson's not doing anything about it. I can swing a baseball bat into his face. I put the weapons aside. I can get on his back and start pounding him on the face. I can use little girly punches. I can hit him as hard as I want to. I can do all of these things. And Mike Tyson's attitude is, you really can't hurt me, but you can bloody his nose and stuff. The second Mike Tyson decides to fight back with me, it's over. I'm done. So make it count, make it hurt. And to me, that didn't happen with the Soleimani strike. To me, that was pretty clear on, was it the second day of his presidency, when he launched that fuel air explosive, mother of all bombs, on a target that probably didn't need quite that much firepower. We've gone from warning them, hey, we're coming. You got a 45-minute warning because President Obama says it's not fair to attack you without warning you. He would have been an excellent Vietnam president. Yeah, somebody mentioned this in the comment section an hour ago. Was Barack Obama's 8 years sucked too? Probably, yeah. Yep. But when they after the Soleimani strike, I thought, okay, they're probably going to do something nasty. And a lot of people say you shouldn't poke around because they have sleeper cells in the United States. And to which I reply, look, this may be true, and they may actually be activated, but honest to God, who wants to live like that? I mean, who's comfortable living like that? What kind of coward do you have to be to say, yeah, well, they've got a gun pointed at you, and so we better do everything they say from now on. It's like, yeah, or get it over with, take your shot, and that'll be the end of it. And I don't think that shot would go as well as they expect it might. But anyway, yeah, it's really reassuring to see a president doing that, and the thing that was necessary for that to happen, given the climate, is that he had to have the skin of a rhinoceros. And I have to say, Trump's response to the Baghdad embassy was even more than I called for. You want to talk about taking the 3 a.m. call. This is, what did he send? Is 100 helicopters or something? 10,000 guys. Anyway, it was something. Yeah, I mentioned in that speech, I said, if you attack a military guy and kill an American soldier, you're going to lose an installation. If you attack American civilians in the U.S., you lose all of your installations, because we can. Iran's strength has been that they're both a state and a terrorist organization. And they try to accomplish most of their political international objectives through terrorism. And as long as you're playing against suckers, that'll work. Because if you're playing against idiots, I'm not going to mention any presidents, but let's just say that the one I have in mind, last name ends in a vowel. If I just completely lost my train of thought. What the hell was I saying? I was going back to Trump anyway. In order to do this, you have to have thick skin, because I've talked before about social proof and the power of social proof, and it wasn't until relatively recently that I realized that social proof is a very powerful force, and it always has been. Mark Twain talked about the power of social proof, but social media is essentially a lever that magnifies the power of social proof by orders of magnitude. So in other words, if people could humiliate you before, or kind of bully you into being quiet before, just by being around you and threatening it with, with your friends, then social media is able to put far more pressure on you. And when you combine that with the mainstream media, anything that Trump does is going to be absolutely dissected and demonized. And you have to have unbelievably thick skin to do it. I don't have that kind of skin. I got nothing like that kind of skin. Nothing. And that's the kind of calluses you get when you've been in New York real estate for 50 years. So, yeah, I'm very pleased to see it. And my argument in 2012, that was 8 years ago. If you told me it was 2018 right now, I'd still say, no, it can't possibly be. Anyway, the argument was that the reason it would take somebody from the pop culture to be able to be that strong would be because only somebody from the pop culture would know how to defeat the news media. And that's really important. And CP Tome says something here that's really, really big. Oh, I remember what I was saying. I was going to say a second ago. I thought they were going to attack the homeland, or set up something. But when they lobbed some missiles which landed in Iraq, I don't know how many of them, none of them killed any of our personnel. I don't even know how many of them hit the base. But in any event, the Iranian missile attack had a 100% success rate of striking in Iraq, somewhere in the country. And when they said, that's it, we're square, I thought, really? First of all, I don't really believe them. But if they're saying we're square, we killed hundreds of Americans with our missiles, that doesn't sound like somebody who wants to continue the fight. That sounds to me like somebody who's like looking for a way to save face. And the thing you have to understand about the Soviets and the Iranians and all the rest of these bastard regimes around the world all throughout history is that their primary concern is not looking tough in front of their enemies abroad. Their primary concern is maintaining that level of fear among their own people. That's what they have to worry about. They have to worry about maintaining that sense of fear over their own people, which is accomplished by convincing them that you're infallible. And as C.P. Tomes pointed out, I think it was C.P. Tomes, there was a picture just came out a couple days ago of the American and Israeli flags on the streets, painted on the streets so that the Iranians could walk over them, and they're going around them. That regime's on its last legs. That act alone, just that alone, is unbelievable, really, and tells you how sick people are. And they should be sick of these guys, the same way you should be sick of progressives. The problem with these with this Islamic Sharia is the same as the problem with progressivism. It is no fun at all. There's no fun in the world. Fun has to be absolutely stamped out. You can't have happy people and rule them by fear. You just can't. So in Islam, you're not allowed to dance, you're not allowed to hold hands, not allowed to kiss, not allowed to date, not allowed to do any of that stuff. And same thing in progressivism, as it turns out. And nobody wants it. And even if you wrap it up in Star Wars, nobody wants it. We win. The culture war's over. We win. Because you cannot change human nature. You can't beat the biology out of people. And that's just absolutely amazing. So, anyway, there's that. Let's see.